Hello everyone, welcome back to Bricks at Home 2021. It's been a mega day so far. We've had some really inspirational Lego builds to look at. We've had a couple of fun activities and we have heard from Sam Johnson, who works as a Lego design manager in Billund. But now we've got Lego ideas and world builder projects. Before we get started with these, just don't forget to go and have a look at bricksathome.org/merchandise if you want to pick up a t-shirt, minifigure or printed brick with the Bricks at Home logo on. They're pretty cool, so definitely worth checking out. We've got a whole bunch more Lego models to see, so let's get right to it with Marc Sloan, who's got his vintage topographical map of the UK to show off. Hey Marc.
Hi Graham.
How's everything going with you?
Very good, thanks. How about yourself?
Yeah, having a great time. So what have you got to show us?
Yeah, I'll just share my screen so you can see.
Fantastic.
Has that come through okay?
Yeah, we can see that.
Brilliant. So yeah, I wanted to talk about my vintage topographical map in the United Kingdom, which is available for your support on Lego Ideas. The easiest way to find it is just to search map on Lego Ideas. It should be one of the first results. And yeah, I just wanted to use the opportunity to chat through some of the backstory about why I designed this and some of the features that it has. There's lots of hidden detail within it. The original intention for me to create this was, as Sam was talking about just now, there's been a lot of people spending a lot of time at home in the last year or so. I've certainly been sitting in this room doing work, and one of the things I have in this office, which you can't really see behind me, but is various maps of the UK. I like to collect maps of the UK. I have geological maps. I have a map in the Super Mario style. And I was sat here one day looking at my wall and thinking, I really need a Lego map. I'm a huge Lego fan. I love Lego. And I thought, well, I'll just look online. I'm sure someone's made a map of the UK in Lego before, and maybe there'll be some instructions or a parts list or something I can just use. And I was really surprised that there wasn't. What I noticed was Lego maps tend to either be absolutely enormous and the size of a room, which obviously wouldn't work in my office, or else they tend to be pretty kind of like mosaics made of 1x1 pieces, and actually they don't look very good. They didn't look like something I would want to put on my wall, and so that's when I thought, actually maybe I should make my own. So I fired up the Lego Studio. I'd never really done any projects in it before, so really it was my first time having a go at it, but I got stuck into it. And over the course of about 2 months, I started to design it. And I myself made a map with 1x1 pieces as a kind of mosaic, and it didn't look very good. But every time I made a design, I would figure out new ways to improve it. And I kept working on it, and I kept working on it. And somewhere along the way, I decided, actually, this might be something that people on Lego Ideas would like as well. So it was never my intention necessarily to submit it to Lego Ideas. I just thought, why not? My intention has always been to design it for myself, and I do want to build a real life version of this to put on my wall. And in fact, I'll show a little bit later the real life version of this that I've had to redesign it in order to get it into where I can actually get the bricks for it. Because one of the things I realized later after having submitted it is many of the bricks aren't available in the colors that I have just now. I'm sure many Lego fans have come across that themselves. But I'll get to that. I want to talk through some of the features of the map itself and kind of go through it. One of the things you may notice looking at it is firstly, the use of colors. I spent a long time trying out lots of different color variations, looking at maps as well to see how they use different colors. As I said at the beginning, it was just a 2D 1x1 mosaic, kind of like the Lego art style that's available just now. And one of the things I really thought was, well, it seems like such a waste that you're using Lego, which is this 3D, format, and you're just doing it in 2D. You can really make the most of stacking Lego bricks in order to make something that has shape. And so that made me think of building a topographical map rather than just a general map. And also I was really inspired by I can't remember what they're called, but there's those faces that were released recently. There's like a Batman face and a Joker face, and they're made by stacking lots of different types of Lego tiles. And I thought they look fantastic. And that technique lends itself really well to a topographical map. So taking all those into consideration, I started to design the map in the way that I have. A couple of sort of easy to miss features, I think, are, for instance, if you look at the ocean, a topographical map doesn't just show the topography of land, it shows the topography of the ocean and various depths. So I wanted to represent that as well, but not physically showing the topography. So, the oceans are flat, but I'm using different colors to represent the different depths of water. Apart from in the top left corner, where actually I have a bunch of transparent tiles and some blue underneath it to make it look like deep water, which, that's the beginning of the Atlantic up there. You may also notice that the Oceanic tiles are in a 2x2 format, because I wanted to bring through that idea that this is a map and it has longitude and latitude. So the oceans kind of show that off a bit. One of the other features you may have noticed are this compass and this ship and the anchor. I spent a lot of time looking at the old Lego maps that you get with pirate sets, and being inspired by that. And when you look at a lot of the different map designs that Lego have done over the years, you see that they always have a compass. They almost always have a little ship and a little anchor. I thought, well, these are great little features, and I'm going to make sure I add them to my map as well, kind of harking back to that nostalgic feel to the map. And also with the frame, I was really inspired by the ship in a bottle, which has this beautiful like gold trim and wood colors. And so I thought I'll borrow that and use that to design the frame of the map. I've spent a lot of time looking at topographical maps of all, Scotland. And Scotland in particular was quite tricky to get right because it is so mountainous, and also the coastline has such a distinctive shape that I tried lots of different variations of wedge tiles and slanted tiles and so on to really give it that distinctive look. And I've used a lot of plates and tiles in this design, but I've had lots of designs where I was using sloped pieces, and the map was a lot thicker because I was building up the layers. And, because my intention was always to hang this on a wall, I didn't want to have it project too much from the wall, otherwise it might look really strange, especially because Scotland is where most of the mountains are. So it kind of stick out of the top and would look very, very odd. So the whole thing is only about maybe 6 plates thick, which is, I think, good enough and light enough as well to hang on a wall. And yet, because I haven't built the thing for real yet, I don't yet know how well it will hang. But I have given consideration to the frame, and I've tried to make it as strong as possible digitally and so on. But we'll see how well that holds up in real life. Another hidden feature too, which you can see here, is, one thing I was thinking a lot about when I was designing it was, if I was building this as a buyer of this set, how can I make this a more interesting and exciting build? And especially the very bottom layer of the map, nobody ever gets to see because, it's built on top of. So I've ended up designing the various maps of the parts of the UK, and you can kind of see France in the corner there as well. And that at least makes this part of the build a little bit more interesting before you hide all of this by building on top of it. And there's one other little extra feature as well, which is, no map is complete without a hidden treasure. So I've actually hidden one of those original pirate maps, and I thought I'd put it in Cornwall because that's, the traditional home of pirates in the UK. So there's you can pull that little piece out there of the map, and then you find the hidden tile underneath it. So that's the map submission as it is. One of the things I've been able to do as well since posting this on Lego Ideas and being thrilled at the response that it's had is, like with any Lego set, whenever I get a Lego set, the first thing I'm thinking about is how to modify it and rebuild it in a way that I want, add minifigures to it and so on. And so I started thinking with this map, what fun variations could you do with this? What will other people do if they were to buy this and hang this in their own home? So over the past couple of months, I've been working on sort of different variations and playing around with it. So I've got a couple of designs here that I've been working on. So every milestone that I've reached, I've made a design for that. So when I reached 1,000 supporters, I added some fireworks. Now, when I recently reached 2,000 supporters, I made a sort of topographical 2,000 that I've added to the map as well. And now I'm starting to think about what I'll do for 3,000 supporters. But some other variations I've done as well over the last couple of weeks are, in the UK, we recently had the Beast from the East, and the whole country was covered in snow. And so I thought, well, let's make a snowy version of this and post about it. And, had a bit of fun playing around with the colors there. I replaced the compass with the snowflake, which was great fun, and posted that, and that got a good response online. Also recently with Chinese New Year, I posted a Chinese themed flag with some Chinese Year of the Ox as well, of course. And you might not see it, but in the top left corner, the compass again has been changed with the Chinese stars from the Chinese flag. So that's been quite fun. Of course, in Lego Studio, it's quite easy to make these variations without too much extra work. I made one for, my wife insisted I make one for Valentine's Day as well. So I just covered the UK in hearts for that. And that was quite a nice post. But, and this was what I was talking about earlier. This is the redesign where I've used only bricks that are actually purchasable on Bricklink. So you can see that I've had to change the colors a bit. The bright green in particular is not widely available. So I've had to change the color of this kind of low-lying forested areas. And also many of the curves and slopes and things just aren't available to buy as well, and certain color variations. So it was actually quite a challenge to find the right balance of maintaining the original design, but also take into account the shapes and the colors and so on that I could buy.
It works really well in these colors still.
Yeah, and one thing I'd be very curious, if I'm lucky enough to reach 10K and be considered for, and even luckier to get accepted onto Lego Ideas, is whether it would be redesigned with existing color sets in mind, or whether new ones would get printed. But I'm really happy with how it's turned out. I think some of the changes I've made, I think I would put back into the original design as well, in terms of certain shapes and things that I think work better this way. But I'm really pleased with that. As it is just now. I'm waiting for my Bricklink orders to get in so I can actually build it for real, and then I'll be posting about this in social media as well. For anyone who's interested, you can find me. I'm Sharky Bricks on Twitter or Instagram and so on. And one thing to finish off on that, I wanted to kind of reveal on here for the first time, so this hasn't been posted anywhere yet, is a new map design I'm working on. Where I've started to, it's still a work in progress, so bear with me, but I wanted to show the design process where I'm sure it's pretty obvious what it is at this point. But here was me working on the ocean, and then I started to fill out the land, and this is where I'm at just now. So of course it's a topographical map of the US. I'm still finessing it, but I'm considering what next to do with this. I don't know whether this maybe is a new Lego Ideas submission, or I don't really know if it's feasible to add this to an existing submission, because one of the biggest pieces of feedback I've had so far actually is, people who love the map, but they don't particularly care about the UK, and they want to build other places out of the map, which, I'd love people to do. So perhaps it's more of a map building kit than it is a individual map, and you get a set of pieces, and I can build the UK or the US or some other country as well, maybe an Asian country. So I'm starting to think about that, but the first step for that is actually just to design these maps and see how they look as well, and also see if they work. I think there's a lot of properties of the UK that make it work. It's got such an interesting coastline. There's a good mix of mountainous areas and low-lying areas.
And being an island and having that blue frame around it, there's something visually very interesting about that.
Absolutely, and actually one of the things I found hard designing this map was, I've had to cut off, there are bits of Canada in there and there are bits of Mexico, and I've had to cut them off, and I'm sure Canadian and Mexican fans will be annoyed at that, and you can't please everyone, I guess. Another highly requested map is Europe, but fitting all of Europe in at this kind of scale, it's still a challenge I'm trying to figure out. My feeling is my next map after this is likely to be Japan, because that's also been highly requested. And like you say, it's surrounded by ocean, has beautiful, interesting coastline, lots of mountainous regions. I think it'll make a really a good topographical map for Lego. And one final thing as well is because there's been such a great response and so many map fans who've been in touch with me and had ideas for maps to make, I ended up making a Facebook group called Lego Maps. If you search Lego Maps on Facebook, you'll find it. So if anyone here is interested in joining the group and seeing my latest creations, but also the creations of other Lego map fans as well, I encourage you all to join. But otherwise, yeah, if this looks like something you'd be interested in supporting, then I'd love for you to find this on Lego Ideas. Just search map, as I said, and you can see these pictures and more there.
It's such an original concept. It's fantastic. If anyone has any questions for Marc, please pop them in the chat with a few question marks ahead of them so that we can spot them.
One of the things I've been really pleased with too is the response from teachers, who many of them be in touch with me to say, oh, this would be such a fantastic teaching aid for my class and my kids and so on. So I love the educational aspect of this as well.
So, I mean, there's lots of positive feedback, no questions, but yeah, just lots of people saying how much they like it and imagining how they might use it to kind of mark their hometowns and things. And loving the Easter eggs and the kind of layers underneath the top layer.
Brilliant. I'm looking forward to reading through that as soon as the next person comes on, I'll read through it. Thanks so much, everyone, for your support.
Yeah, Orla Linehan would like you to include a bit more of Ireland so that it can include our hometown.
Probably the biggest complaint I get, and I get this more than I realized I would, is that the Shetland Islands haven't been included because they're just off the map. But that gets brought up more than anything. So I regret not including them now.
Mim Porter asks if you would consider doing 3D versions of smaller areas.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion. And some of the kinds of maps people have suggested before are, on the scale of cities, or, Rome has been mentioned a few times, or smaller countries like Switzerland in particular would be quite beautiful because of how mountainous it is. So I'm definitely considering that. As I said, when I created this originally, it was just for my own personal, to build it myself and to have in my home. But I think the style that I've come up with for this, I really want to see other maps in that style. I want to see what I can do with it. So, I'm starting with the US, but go in the Facebook group and you'll see the number of suggestions that have been made for different maps. And not just real maps, actually, fictional maps as well. Middle Earth has been requested a lot. And I've seen actually someone else has submitted a Middle Earth map since I submitted this. So I think the idea might be starting to catch on. The Game of Thrones map has been suggested a lot too. So I've been thinking about things like that. And also anyone in the chat, if you've got your own suggestions, please put them in the chat or go on Lego Ideas and submit them there. Join the Facebook group and submit them there. I'd love to hear them. I'd love to have a chat about them as well.
Gaz Crawford Comley asks if you would repaint parts that are not in the right color when you're making the real physical version.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't really. I've never sort of used Bricklink before, and the world of custom bricks and things like that. So I'm learning as I go along. I did wonder if it was possible to just get existing bricks and repaint them somehow. And maybe I will. I can give it a go. But as Graham was saying, I'm actually quite pleased with how it has turned out, the real physical version of it. And I'm going to see what it looks like in real life. And, is it a beautiful object I'd want to put on my wall or not? I'll be posting about it as well as I build it on my social media channels as well, if anyone wants to follow that.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Marc, for taking us through that. It's yeah, a really cool build and a really fascinating process that you've been through to get there.
Cool. Thanks so much for having me on here and for letting me share with everyone.
Cheers, Marc. And next up we have Maria, who's got a Watermill build to show us.
Hi.
Hey Maria, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Yeah, all good, thank you.
Great.
What have you got here today?
Okay, this is my Lego Ideas project. You can find it by searching Watermill. It's based actually on Japanese watermills, and I was very fascinated by the Japanese watermills when I was researching for them and looking on YouTube. So I started designing it in a studio, and then I started building it. So it's still work in progress. As you can see, it has a roof, obviously, a ground floor and a basement. I don't know if it's very, maybe I should just move it a little bit further. That's better.
Yeah, we can see it nice and clear.
Okay, cool. So I'm still gathering my bricks. There's a few missing, but I hope that in the next couple of orders from Bricklink, I'll be able to finish it. So I had to change some things when I was building it, mainly and mostly due to stability issues. With Studio, okay, it gives you an idea of how things work, but in real life, things are totally different. So I had to reinforce these bits from behind. So it's not really visible that I did it, but I really had to. Also, I can show you. I can show it to you working.
Oh yes, please.
So I was really happy. You can turn the crank, and it works. And I will show you later on the back side as well. What I want to mention is it also works with power functions, which was really hard. So by using a control, you can turn it on and off. And it also has, I also added a remote receiver, so you can adjust as well the speed. What else? I've also made a video, but I will show it to you later on. It's just a minute. So I'll just turn it.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And I will take off the roof so more light comes in. So you can see the interior as well.
Oh, excellent.
And I also added this part opens. It's where the receiver is and the battery.
Yeah.
So it's the accessibility is easier. Obviously, it comes apart, but I won't do it right now. And I will show you the interior working now. Can you see?
Oh wow!
So this is actually based on a specific watermill I found on YouTube, and this part here, which goes up and down, is supposed to grind the wheat. I don't know what they were grinding, rice or whatever. What else? It's supposed to have some minifigures as well, but I haven't bought them yet. But yeah, that's about it. I didn't make many changes. Most of the other parts worked, so I was happy with that.
Yeah.
Actually, this is my first mock.
Oh wow!
So, yeah.
You started ambitious.
Yes. I don't know if I'm gonna go for power functions the next time, but I'm really happy because it's been a real struggle, and I have to say that I had help from my lag. I have a few friends who are technic freaks. I don't know how to call them. So they kind of helped out and simplified my thoughts, because when I left the dark ages and I started buying Lego again, I started with technique, but my mind doesn't work very well. You know, it doesn't put two and two together always. So I I had to have help to adjust some things. Should I show you the video as well of it working with power functions?
Yes,
I decided not to do it live because of the noise from the motor working. So I made a small video. It also has sound. So please bear with me for a second.
Yeah, fantastic.
Can you see it?
We can see it.
Okay, cool. So it still has a glitch. I don't know if you can see that. It doesn't turn smoothly, but I hope I will be able to fix it at some point.
Yeah.
This is another grinding bit. So it grinds, it has to grind in not sessions, but parts.
That is so cool.
Thank you. I also had some problems with this, with the area where the two gears are connected. So I had to reinforce it because it was just coming apart. What else? Oh, I forgot. Let me just stop the sharing. Cool. I forgot to tell you that the basement, when you don't add the power functions, it works like as a what do you call it? A storage. So basically, you can have your minifigures storing the rice and wheat and whatever you can imagine of storing in a watermill.
Oh, brilliant.
What else? I don't know.
What inspired you to build it in the first place? What made you want to build it? What inspired you to build it in the beginning?
Okay. First of all, I love Japan in general. It's a place I haven't been yet, but I've been fascinated with Japan since I was a young child. So I've made another 2 Lego ideas which are based on Japan, a dojo and machiya, which is a traditional Japanese neighborhood. And I love Ninjago as well. I still haven't bought that garden set, but I will. So when I was going through Lego ideas, I realized that there are no many ideas concerning the theme of Watermill. So I thought that's a cool idea, and it also has functionality, and it also has educational purposes. I mean, like you know, you can show small children how things worked in the early ages, and as well the mechanism of a watermill has inspired the common engine of a car. It's the same logic in a way.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I decided to make it. And I'm also trying to build slowly a diorama of Japanese area or a small village or something like that.
Oh, that will be cool. Do you know how many pieces this is going to use when it's finished?
It's about 2,000.
Wow, that's so huge for a first build.
It's a big build. I mean, you can't realize how big it is. But I realized it when I started building it, how tall as well it is, because if I just add the roof back, it's quite tall. I mean, it's, but I didn't have an option to make it shorter. I wanted everything to work inside. So they became quite tall. I mean, it's not actually, how you call it, minifigure scale, I think. I'm not sure. I'm not so familiar with that term. So, yeah.
So Mimic Water asks, how did you design the water wheel?
with a lot of trial and error. Actually, I'm gonna turn it back, and this part here, it's rigid tubes, I think it's called. The idea came from the London Eye, the set from architecture.
Yes.
So that really helped me in a way to attach all the, I don't know how they are called, this parts where the water just drops and it helps the whole mill turn. Yeah, so that's it about the wheel.
And bear with me. Shona asks, what real life watermills inspired you?
Oh, I have to find the link. If he can find me on Facebook, I can send it to him. It's an actual mill, so I'll send him the actual working mill from Japan.
Oh, that would be great. That sounds like a great idea. British Bricks asks, what type of figures would you include in the set?
I've included 3. It's actually the millman, the son, and the wife, which are typical Japanese figures, you know, with our hat. I don't know how it's called again, but there are some very, very nice minifigures from Ninjago with very nice, funny expressions. So in my mock, I will include those as well.
Fantastic. And you mentioned you had help from other members of your lug. What lug are you a part of?
I'm part of a Greek lug, which is called brick.gr. So yeah, I'm from Greece. I live in Athens.
Well, thank you so much for joining us to share that build. It's so cool. Good luck in reaching the support on LEGO Ideas.
Thank you.
So now we have a mystery machine from Scooby-Doo to check out from Martin. Hey Martin, how are you?
Unmute, right.
Aha, we can hear you.
All right. So my mystery machine, let me see if I can share my screen. Bear with. Okay, here we go. So let me start with, no, let's go there. Can you see my screen now?
We can see your screen, yep.
Yeah, you see the mystery machine on there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful. So
that is awesome.
Yeah, thanks. So here it is.
Love those colors.
Yeah, it is a really nice, nice range. So starting from the beginning on how it came about. I've been on Instagram for quite a while, and I do general sort of mashups of vehicles where I take maybe the Ecto one from Ghostbusters and put it in the colors of the other vehicles. And I've done pretty much all the minifigure scale ones. So I wanted to go larger. So I was looking to see which to do. Obviously, Lego did the humongous 1989. They did the Ecto one recently. Here. So I looked into doing a different one. And I wanted to do a vehicle that hadn't been done before. You know, there's been quite a lot of DeLoreans, the 18 van's been done a lot, you know, and I was actually quite surprised that nobody had ever really attempted a big mystery machine. When I started designing it, I realized why. it's, you know, to say it's a box van, it's far from boxy. It's quite curvaceous from every single view, and the fact that it's a cartoon van, you know, it doesn't, you know, there's no, you know, physical references. You know, it's, you know, a starting point would be scale, and because it doesn't exist, it's just a cartoon. It's a case of you know, how big actually is it? There's lots of, you know, you see from now and again that people have painted real vans in the Mystery Machine colours, but they never look like the Mystery Machine. They just look like you've got a van and you painted it in the Mystery Machine colours.
Yeah.
I wanted to create a shape that even without all the decals, you would still be able to see that. A different screen. This is against the Ecto that this thing is it's taken me forever to build. I mean, I'm doing it sort of as and when, but you can sort of gauge that it's in proportion, that it is there and thereabouts, based alongside, which is my my hope that if this thing gets made, that they will look nice together. So it's quite, it's got function built into it. I originally wanted to put steering onto it, but it's, again, with it being a cartoon van, you know, when you're basing something on real life, you look to see how it was done in real life, and then you think how you can translate that to Lego. With a cartoon van, you know, there was, you know, you never saw the engine, you never saw a lot of things. You know, a lot of artistic license had to be used for the rear, the roof element lifts up for you to have a look in. And the rear doors also open up. Let's see if they nicely hinge open. So this thing is, well, the van itself is 1,853 pieces, and then the plinth below, which rotates, is a further 116, which together is 1,969, which is 1969, which is the year of the first Scooby-Doo cartoon.
Oh, brilliant.
Reference. So I've got general Scooby-Doo things in there. Obviously, you can't have anything Scooby-Doo without some Scooby snacks in there. Double hug cheeseburger, which this was based on the cheeseburger that Iron Man has in the Hall of Armor add-on. And then a few other little things. Stuck a fridge on there. And there we go. Then, because although this is Scooby-Doo, and I think because I'm on Instagram, like I said, and you know, you see behind me all this Batman stuff. I'm probably more known on social media for Batman than I am Mystery Machine. So I thought I had to stick a little fridge magnet on there of Batman. Just a little.
Certainly a different colour scheme to Batman.
Yeah. So ultimately, I think that's maybe all I have to say. It's probably going to. One thing to mention is that it's recently had a revision. The original version didn't have a windscreen. Again, it was difficult to capture everything, because when you're working in, if we scale it back to scale, which I couldn't get scale because I didn't know how big the real one is. I did a lot of research on, you know, mini box vans, this, that, and the other. But ultimately, proportion is probably more important than scale. And whereas you can play with the height and the width of things with, you know, tiles and plate heights and things like wheels, you can't, you know, you either have this size or this size. You know, you can't have the exact one that you want. So the wheels were what sort of dictate the scale of everything else. And then from that, I needed a humongous windscreen, which Lego didn't do. So at the time, I just didn't put one in there. It was, if I get my, I'll show you. So this is the how it was originally, and this is it against the existing ones. So the minifigure scale one is obviously the one in the middle. So the one that I've done is quite a bit larger, but there was no windscreen, and I used long since retired hinges, which they worked very, very well because they were super low profile, so they didn't really affect the design on the outside, and they allowed me to clad the inside much more slender. But a lot of feedback. You know, I tried to listen to all the feedback and change it. A lot of people wanted a windscreen, and everybody commented on how the hinges were not a great idea. So I changed them to the more modern hinges, which they work well, but they add a nice little detail which isn't necessarily there on the actual Mystery Machine, but I think they work quite well. So I've not been looking at my screen for questions or anything, but has any questions come through about it?
Gaz asks if you're going to build it for real.
I don't know. I'm sort of living in the hope that Lego build it for me, and I'll just buy that one. I have looked into buying it because I've built, obviously I own a lot of real Lego sets, and I've built a lot of mocks and things. And one thing that you know about building a mock is that they're super expensive.
Yeah.
I think this thing, because first of all, a lot of the bricks are not available in this color, so I don't know how accurate I'd be able to represent. I'd be able to achieve the shape, but the color I wouldn't be. So it's not on my immediate to-do list. It's on one of those. It would be nice to do, and obviously every single idea that has been approved by Lego and made into a real set has been changed. You know, the set that you submit, you know, it always gets revised slightly. So it probably would be nice to have the original submission in brick form. So it's certainly something to look into. I've had printed elements produced in the past by people. There's certain bits that would be harder to do than others, like these ones. These would be quite easily, and that would be quite easy. But again, it's not in the colors, so you probably need to print the entire, you know, maybe start with a white tile and print it, all the colors on there. The pattern, which is it would be, I think it would be a first for Lego if they ever did. It's because it runs all the way around a 360-degree continuous decal, which one thing that everybody has come back to me and said, you know, just how's that going to happen? You know, you just couldn't, you know, Lego never in a million years are going to do that. Which just because they never have doesn't mean they never will. It could be simplified. You know, these ones here obviously have the black line on there, but it doesn't need the black line. If we need to simplify it, we can, and there's over 100 printed tiles there, but if needed be, it could be reduced to below 40. And you know, if stickers were required, nobody likes stickers, do they? But it could work that way as well. But yeah, I didn't want to do it safe. You know, I could have done a much more simplified design. I actually looked into it very briefly about not even having any printed elements and trying to replicate the shape in Lego itself. But obviously, you know that Lego works well with scale. It's like pixels, isn't it? You know, that the higher resolution an image, the better it is. Lego models, the larger they are, the better they are. You know, these flowers in real Lego. We look at my my plinth here. You know, that's pretty much as good a flower as I could get, and that's massive. So it sort of needed to be like that. You know, I wanted to represent it as good as it could be, and then if it needs scaling back, then you know, it needs scaling back. Rather than I'd rather that than a half-hearted effort, and then people saying, "Oh, but you could have done this, you could have done that, you could have been so much more." I think this is as good as I could have done it. I think I'm quite happy with how it's turned out. I think it looks all right. I think even without all the decoration on there, I think you would probably know that it is a mystery machine, hopefully.
It's really cool. We've had some great feedback in the chat. People are loving it.
Thanks.
So yeah, thanks so much, Martin, for walking us through that and showing us what you've been up to with the mystery machine. If you could share the ideas link in the chat, then people will be able to click straight through and give it their support.
I will do. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, and good luck with getting the support that you're after on Lego Ideas for it.
Thank you.
So next up, we have Harvey Pope with BBC Television Centre. Do we have Harvey, Richard? Aha, here he is. Hey, how are you? Oh, we can't hear you right now. Ah, it looks like you might be unmuted now. Oh, no, still can't hear you. Try saying something now.
Are we having some audio issues there? Perhaps because we're running a little bit over in this session already, we could potentially come back to Harvey in a second if they can't get that working.
Yep, sure thing.
So I think James is next. Let's have a look at James and we'll see if we can come back to Harvey.
Sounds good. Hey, James, how's it going?
I'm well. How are you? Thank you for giving me the opportunity to show you Lego Sustainable Squad. So I'm going to start off by sharing a video which I made for it.
Fantastic. That's great, James. A lot of people might not be familiar with Lego World Builder yet. So could you just briefly explain to us what the platform is, please?
Yes, so with Lego World Builder, I'll share the site. Stop sharing this site. So it's similar to Lego Ideas, but instead of creating a single set, you're able to create your own theme idea. So I worked on this theme with one of my friends, and because Lego haven't really produced that many sustainable based products, we've decided to go down the route of what if Lego did a theme based about sustainability. And on Lego World Builder, you can see the bio about this world. And with it, when you upload the elements to your world, it will show you all of the elements in this section there, and then there are the individual categories with characters, society, history, places, storylines, and things like that. And at the start of it, we had to come up with the description of it for uploading it. With the cover picture, you're able to update that if you come up with a better one. So whereas we're on Lego ideas for your product, once you've uploaded the picture to the website, you can update it, but that's only shown on the update page, not on the main page. With one of the characters,
your characters are proving very popular in the chat. People are really loving those.
I'm glad. Generally, so one of the other people on Lego World Builder, they very kindly created the concept of this character and named the original overview, and then I did the character concept design, and then my friend did the amended overview for it. And more recently in the comments section, I was lucky enough, one of the World Builder admin, she would like to play Sustainable Boulevard,
That's a great name.
Which my friend came up with the name for, which where the sustainable squad live, and essentially it's made up of old shipping containers with solar panels on the roof, as well as binoculars which use the same designs as the ones seen in Lego Universe, so that they can spy on the garbage gang.
Could you show us the characters again, please? Could we have another look at those?
Yes. So
fantastic.
So I can. So this is Compost Rider. So my friend Kate came up with names. Then I did the models for the characters. He also did the descriptions to them, and then I was able to use Stud.io and Part Design, as well as Krita, which is a Photoshop alternative and is free to use. So I created the decals and that, and then put them to Part Designer.
And how did you come up with this overall idea? Was it just like straight away you guys were like, right, sustainability, or?
So I had seen Lego World Builder on one of Just Too Good's videos, and I thought I wanted to upload something to it because I thought it was quite cool, and I thought sustainability would be a cool thing. And I asked my friend if he'd help me with it, and very kindly he agreed to work on it together. It took, I'd say, maybe a month to get it all done, and then now it's working on the updates with renders and things like that for it.
So the characters look really cool, but in your video, it looked like you'd also got some little builds that you've made for it. So have you been building up the world?
Yeah, so I'll switch. If I stop the screenshot, because I have the model.
Oh, excellent.
Model made.
Oh, wow.
So it's built on 6 32 by 32 base plates. And there you can see the coal mine with contaminator on the top of the coal mine, as well as sand salvages. Sand salvages map, which is
just for a minute, could you hold the camera further back so we can try and get a look at the whole layout? Would that work? Oh, fantastic. Yep, that's great. Oh, cool. So is this all sustainable growing that they're doing in the center of the layout?
Yes, so that's Flow Wind Farm, and they harvest solar powered energy, as well as having these modern wind turbines which chop the crops, and then the roller coaster track has the transport for the harvest crops on there.
That's fantastic.
There's sustainable farm.
If anyone has any questions, please pop them in the chat with a few question marks ahead of them.
Litterbugs map. And then Plutrons, naturally gas petrol station.
Brilliant. And how long has the build taken you to put together?
It took quite a long time, I'd say a few months, and with the road base plates, because they'd only came out this year, and with some of the parts I got from the Bristol Lego shop, which only opened fairly recently, but now because we're in lockdown it's closed. But it was a fun build, and like how creative it is. Well, one of my favorite characters is Recycloid, who's
great name.
Influenced by Junkbot, which was an old Lego game. So that's a nice Easter egg.
That's nice. So we've got a question here. Mim Porter asks, what was the hardest section to build?
I probably say potentially Flow and Farm, because initially I had come up with a really simple, quick build built on, I think it was like a 16 by 16 base plate with a few slopes, and then with the roller coaster track, ideally my friend and I were hoping to get it in blue, but on the Lego website I think it was sold out from bricks and pieces. So I asked a few members of my Luxem part of Gertlug if they had any, and then Laura Proctor, she had some purple track, so I got a few from her, and then also from Brick Owl.
And so Oliver asks about the collaborators on the platform who helped you with the project. So how many of you was it who put this together?
So it's me and my friend, and then the other person, he just gave us the suggestion for the character, and then I decided to incorporate it. So it's three of us at the moment.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, it looks fantastic. And yeah, we really hope that it keeps picking up traction on Lego World Builder, and that, yeah, you get lots of fans on the platform, because it looks great.
Thanks
so much. Sorry, go on.
I'm going to send a link into the chat so that you can like it. I'd be really grateful if you
please do. Definitely. Thank you so much, James. We really enjoyed looking at that. We're now going to see if we can talk to Harvey, who was having a few microphone issues before, but hopefully we'll be able to speak to him now.
Hello.
Hello, we can hear you.
Yay. We've had to swap
you, Harvey.
To make it work. I'm absolutely fine, thank you. Hope everybody's well and staying safe.
Absolutely. So you have got a BBC television sensor build to show us, right?
That's right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try and reverse my camera, which will probably make a whole mess of it all again. So let me just turn it around so you can see what I'm looking at. Hopefully that will work. 1 second. Otherwise, all the writing on it is going to look back to front. There we go. Okay, so this is it's still back to front. Never mind.
It looks right to us from where we're looking.
That's okay. It's just my screen, so obviously when I go left, I'm going to have to go left and right, etc. So this all looks, I suppose, very technical. My sort of background is I used to work as a warm-up artist at a place called Pebble Mill in Birmingham. A lot of other people watching in Britain will remember that place. So I've got a very broad interest in the broadcasting industry. And what I decided to do was actually build, as you can see here, the shell of the studio.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to take you through a few of the points. So if I can ask Harry to put the house lights on for me. Okay.
Hey.
So we're lit. As you can see at the top, we've even got a proper transmission sign there for you. Okay. And the actual studio itself, this is a mock-up of what's known as TC3, TC standing for Television Centre.
Yeah.
And I'll just give you a quick, because everyone likes to see behind the scenes. If you just whip behind the top of the pop set, you can actually see all the way down the back of the studio there.
Oh, wow.
So we've had to use, obviously, Lego plates, black plates as sets. And we've been had a bit of fun with some holographic card. Obviously, we needed to put some logos on.
Yeah.
Also, if I just come around here, I want to show you, we've tried to make it as 1980s as possible. So we've made this this mole crane, as it was known. Huge, hefty beast of a machine it was. Obviously, they've got little monitors there on it. We've simply used cotton to run the cables from the cameras. I'll just pull one of the cameras out for you. Obviously, you'd never handle a real camera like this. Just to show you that this one has actually got an auto cue system on the front of it as well. We had to download an awful lot of pictures to try and get this as realistic as possible.
Yeah.
The auto cue system is quite simply just two triangular squares, black squares. Just turn that around for you so you can see. So absolutely nothing complicated there whatsoever. Let's go around the other side for you. So I'll just move this over. We've got four stages. As you can see in the corner there, it's all set out ready for Elton John when he turns up with his piano.
Excellent.
In there and show you. Obviously as well, we tried to keep as authentic as possible with signage. Let's keep that slowly there. So we put a bit of signage on. You can see the entrance into the studio, and also the steps that go all the way up into the gallery there on the side of the studio. We took the decision to put the grey tiles in for the floor, simply because we're making at the moment, work in progress, some sets. This is myself and my son Harry, who's worked with me. He'll give you a wave in a minute, I'm sure, so that we can do interchangeable sets. We're currently working on a breakfast time set, if anybody remembers that from the 1980s as well, which we're going to put into TC3. But TC3, if anybody would like to know why we haven't done, say, the iconic Studio One, the building that's got all the dots on the side of it, the reason we didn't do that, yeah, the reason we didn't do that is because we wanted to start with Top of the Pops, and Top of the Pops was primarily in Studio 3. That was its home at Television Centre. The smallest set you've ever seen, but you know, with the joys of lighting in broadcasting, they can make the set absolutely huge. A bit of a boost of a buy for us. I hope you can see what's known as a cyc. That's a rail that goes around the top that cloths can be hung from. That's actually a 1960s piece of rail track.
Oh, wow.
That we found on a well-known internet auction site. And it was the closest we could actually come to being as realistic as possible. I'm going to take you onto we've started being a ring road. Unfortunately for us, the rest of our brown bricks that we ordered haven't turned up. So unfortunately, I've got half a wall around here. But here we have the outside wall, as you can see, with the entrance signs. And I'll just take you round here because we have a little Easter egg we've popped in there. You can see another little show that's due to be recorded inside. This is probably, I know it's terrible to say, but this is probably the most expensive thing on the whole build. That's an authentic model car, which I actually souped up for another. I do a lot of model photography as well, so I used that for a Christmas card many moons ago.
And there are some very young viewers on the stream, so would you be able to explain to them that reference?
Yeah, this is from, hopefully a lot of the youngsters will know what that is. That's Dylan Rodney's Reliant Regal van from Only Fools and Horses that Delboy beautifully drove every day, not particularly well, and it's what he's kept his, I suppose you could say, his contraband inside. You can also see through there by the van, if I just come up over the top of the brickwork, we've also put in the dock doors. That's the bit that all of the scenery and props can go through. I'm just going to take you up here. This is our gallery. So let's take you in. Obviously, I'm just going to try and get the light right for you. But with the blue windows, if there's anybody, I could see in the chat that there's a couple of people said that they had worked or been to TV Centre. So there's our gallery with all the sound and vision equipment, and of course the view over the studio. I'll just turn this back round. I'm going to ask Mr. Chap there. Give us a wave, Harry. That's it. We're going to just turn the lights on for you to show you the full effect. Okay.
Oh,
Now,
wow.
do you want to turn the white ones off for me? Thanks, Harry. Now, the reason we've done this in particular is because we are very strong believers in, never ever lose your sense of play, basically. That's at the end of the day, surely that's what Lego is all about. It's having fun, something to play with, and the whole point that you can take all the flooring out if you want. It wouldn't take you more than like 20 minutes to get all these tiles up, believe it or not. And you can just pop another new set inside.
Yeah.
And something to play with. So if you've got any children that want to, get into the television business, if they want to be in broadcasting, it's this sort of thing which I think is fun to play with. But when they're bored with having their own little TV show in there, they can design a brand new set with other Lego bricks and put a brand new show in there. What we're actually working on at the moment, Harry's already made a start on it because Harry's a bit of a Blue Peter fan. He's got quite a few Blue Peter patches already, haven't you? We're going to do Studio 4 next door, and we're going to try and link this up.
Oh, fantastic.
And so he's going to put a 1980s Blue Peter set inside and make it look as funky as possible. So, and also, of course, you can see up top there, we've got the traditional clock. And just to show you, if I can get the camera up there, could you just pop the lights off for a second so we can see? Thanks, Harry. You can see right up in the corner there, I hope you can make that out, the windows of the gallery.
Yes, we can see that.
Fantastic.
Excellent.
So you can see that there. Obviously, we've added some bits of card, etc., but we feel it adds to the whole setup.
LD Brickmaster asks, how did you do the lights?
The lights, well, they're pretty simple to do. We went online on Amazon. Nobody can say that I'm not cheap. Waited for the Black Friday sale after Christmas and bought some LED fairy lights. So I'll just turn this around for you. You can see there's quite simple box here with 4 batteries in, and the white lights are operated through that. The whole lighting system, it looks pretty impressive, but the whole lighting system cost £4.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, I mean, it's good. And we've got like a remote control. Harry's in charge of the remote, and that can change the different run of the lights. So you can have different moods for, different pop stars, or a different mood for a different show. And as I say, I would love with Harry, because Harry's worked very hard on this as well, to build this up and hopefully build a lot more of television centre. And our dream is to actually have this on display. I have a friend who works at a BBC premises down in London who's expressed interest in having this on display in reception with a different show inside. So we've got fingers crossed that that's going to happen. Harry's standing waving his fists in the air.
And is it on Lego Ideas?
No, we haven't yet.
Okay.
We are actually sort of, I suppose you could say, Lego Ideas virgins. This is our first major build. We've only had kits since. Harry's crazy about space and astronomy. He's got the ISS, the Lunar Lander module, all the space shuttles, or the Lego space shuttles. So he's just Lego mad, and I use his Lego madness as a really good excuse for me to be Lego mad as well.
Well, we all think you've done a great job of assisting him in putting this together.
Yeah. Yeah. It's yeah, it's not. Oh, I've got to be fair, haven't I? Because he's standing next to me, so I'll say it's 50.
Oh no, that is awesome, Harvey. Thank you so much for taking us on the tour.
No problems at all. I hope you enjoyed it.
Absolutely, it's fascinating. And I'd also like to thank everyone else who's been part of this last session of the day when it comes to builds. So thank you to Marc, Maria, Martin, James, and Harvey and Harry, who have all presented their builds. They've been really incredible and a really nice, inspiring end to the sessions today. For those who have registered, we do have the Bricks and Beers social at 5:30. Other than that, we're starting again tomorrow at 9:45 a.m. For another day of Bricks at Home 2021. If you've not got involved in bingo today, then be sure to go to bricksathome.org/bingo so that tomorrow you can have a bit of an interactive element to go with the presentations. There's also the Bricks at Home shop to check out. There's some event merchandise there that hopefully some of you will get a kick out of. And other than that, I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who has been watching today. It's been fantastic seeing all of these different builds, sharing all of the brick. And until we can do it again in person, this is a really nice virtual way of all getting together. And I'll thank again Richard, Kaz, and Matt, who are responsible for putting this thing together. It's been a really fantastic show, really great program, and I think we're all looking forward to the social this evening and another day of it tomorrow. So thank you very much, everybody.